it's Vallivon The Perfume Don back at you with another fragrance video. Thanks so much for tuning into my channel. If this is your first time looking at me, this is a fragrance channel. I am Vallivon The Perfume Don, and I want you guys to join my perfume mafia by hitting subscribe. You can also hit me up on Instagram. It's Vallivon The Perfume Don on there. And let's get into this video. So I just want to come to you guys and speak to you real about, I know it's going crazy in the world right now. And I feel like during this time, you probably just feel like you really need a drink. You feel like you just need a cocktail. So why not smell like a freaking cocktail as well? So I went through my collection, and these are fragrances in my collection that I've noticed have a very nice prominent, because that's the main thing. I'm sure I have other ones in my collection that have a nice cocktail or a liquor, boozy note, but I want the ones that actually have a prominent one that you can really smell it. And you guys know that you're supposed to drop below. Let me know what's in your collection that has a very nice boozy element. What does it have in there? And we can discuss. So let's start this video off with the first note. That I have two fragrances in my collection. They both have this note in there, and it's so much fun. This is a Bellini note. Okay, so let me read to you. Let me tell you what Bellini usually smells like, so then you can have an idea of the fragrances. So Bellini is a fantasy note. It has a peach sparkly effect and perfumes. It pairs well with creamy and feminine florals. Okay. And just in case you've never had a Bellini, when you go out, girl, a Bellini is a famous Italian, internationally known drink. You know, it's a cocktail. It's a sparkling blend of white wine, traditionally Prosecco, which is an Italian sparkling white wine, and a white peach puree. Oh, I just want one. Just thinking about it. Are you guys good at drinking? Are you guys good at drinking? Are you guys good at making drinks? I think we're all good at drinking. If so, drop below. What's your signature drink? I know a lot of people are trying to make drinks and probably doing very successfully, being their own bartenders. So what are you guys making at home? What kind of drinks? What's your signature? I would love to know. Give me some inspiration. It says the drink started as a seasonal specialty of the Harry New York's bar in Venice, Italy in 1948. Oh my God. Oh my God. That bar was a favorite of Ernest Hemingway and some other people I don't know, so we're gonna skip them. Later, it became popular in New York City bars. We love New York City. So it's a very elegant, crisp fragrance note, charming composition of velvety fruit, peach notes. It's fresh and it's rich with aromas of apple, pear, hint of citrus, and champagne, and those fade into a floral bouquet. So they say, in other words, Bellini is an uplifting, slightly sweet fragrance with an ultra-sophisticated, pleasurable complexity. So the two fragrances that I have in my collection that have a Bellini note, the first one is going to be a Fiore by Vince Camuto. Now, as you saw, they just said that it usually has a fresh floral kind of fragrance, and this one definitely does. So this is Fiore by Vince Camuto. Love this fragrance. Oh my God, I feel like this one just smells so fresh and soapy on me. It does have, how they talked about it, has like a peachy element. Usually peach fragrances give it like a very grown, sexy element to me. Kind of like, this one smells like the peach that, I don't know if this fragrance actually has peach. I'm gonna look up the notes in a minute. But this one has like the same kind of peachy element to me as Burberry Body. And it's just very sexy. It has a musky element to me, which is also one of those notes that men really gravitate towards. Love it. It just smells like the perfect fresh floral, but a little bit sparkly and grown woman, because it does have that Bellini note in there that just makes it more uplifting and very inviting and just more of a fun fragrance. Because if it didn't have that Bellini in there, I think it would be kind of like too musky and a little bit too grown, to be quite honest. So let's get into the notes that it actually has in this fragrance. I'm going to read it to you guys. I think a lot of people actually have this fragrance in their collection. It's very popular. So for the top notes, the Bellini is in the top note, and then it does have a nectarine note as well, and a pink grapefruit. So it does open up. It has that almost like a zesty, I want to say more of like a zesty citrus element, but of course that Bellini keeps it a little bit more uplifting and a little bit more fun. Sometimes grapefruit can be a little bit tart in fragrances, and this one does have a little bit of like a tartness, I have to admit. Now in the base notes, that's when it gets to the floral components. So in the base notes, it has, I'm sorry, not the base notes, the heart notes. That's where it has the jasmine flower, which is actually, this is one of my favorite interpretations of a jasmine. It also has the freesia and the iris as well. And the base notes, it has the amber, it also has some musky elements, and it has cedar, so a little bit of wood and some sandalwood. Very sexy fragrance, but I think this is one of the best well done, very boozy fragrances. Now the next fragrance that I have in my collection that has a very nice Bellini note is going to be Lush Pink by Mariah Carey. Love this fragrance. This is, again, a very sexy fragrance. So if you see Bellini in the notes, just know it's probably going to be a little bit on the seductive side, because I feel like that's what Peach usually does. So I'll read to you what the notes in Lush Pink are. And actually, I just had this fragrance go head to head with the original fragrance from Mariah Carey, which was M, and I compared them to see which one I liked the best. So you guys can check that out as well. So the top notes for this Lush Pink is going to be aquatic notes, it's going to be bergamot, and then it's also going to be the Bellini note. So very, very nice. For the main notes, it's going to have Lily of the Valley. It also has peony flower, and it has tiara flowers. So again, very uplifting florals, very light, delicate florals. That's what's in this fragrance. For the base notes, it's rounded out by woody notes, musk, and sandalwood. And I have to admit, I feel like a lot of the notes in these two fragrances are very similar. The sandalwood is prominent there, just adds some creaminess, rounds it out a little bit, adds some depth to it. I also really like the musky element of these fragrances and the Bellini. So these are two very nice grown woman boozy cocktail kind of fragrances. So very nice for daytime and great if we're ever allowed outside of the house again to go to a brunch. These are two great fragrances. Vince Camuto Fiore and Lush Pink by Mariah Carey. The next note that we're going to explore is going to be a rum note, honey. Now this fragrance, I have to admit that I always go back and forth with this fragrance, and that's most Tom Ford fragrances for me. This one is Velvet Orchid by Tom Ford. Today I'm loving it, tomorrow I'll probably hate it. This is a very deep fragrance. I call it a very deep, I feel like it's a deep, spicy, floral, oriental kind of fragrance, which isn't usually my thing. If I do wear this, it's usually in the evening, and we're not allowed out in the evening now, so I don't really reach for it. Now the top notes in this fragrance are going to be honey, very prominent, and that's what's the saving grace of this fragrance. It also has the cocktail note of rum. Love, love, love the rum in this. Now the rum in this is like very sexy. It's very, very sexy. It almost reminds you of like when you go to like a speakeasy or you go to a bar and there's a guy there and he's drinking his drink and, you know, he's got on a nice suit. That kind of feel. Very posh, very dapper. Woo-hoo! Almost dropped this John. Woo! Okay, so also on the top notes, we have mandarin orange and the bergamot. This fragrance has a lot of notes. Those aren't very prominent. You're going to smell the rum and the honey most. Now, the bergamot in there and the mandarin orange, it just uplifts it and keeps it from being so heavy because the notes in here are very, very heavy. And I'm not even going to read to you all of the notes that they have for the heart notes. It's just a wide array of different florals. They actually did 2 custom florals for this fragrance. They did 2 orchid fragrances. So they have orchid, which of course is a note on its own, but they did the synthetic note of a black orchid specifically for this fragrance. It also has like rose in there, magnolia, a bunch of other florals. So heavy on the florals. This is a very deep, heavy floral fragrance. It's like, what is this again? What is that? Also in the base notes, it's going to have some suede in there, so that just adds some more depth, a little bit of creaminess to round everything out. It has vanilla in there, so that combines well, again, to add a little bit of sweetness compared to, or paired with the honey note at top. And it has some balsam, which is one of the notes that I don't really like. The myrrh in there adds a little bit of spiciness, a little bit of grit, kind of makes it dirty. And it has some sandalwood as well. But if you're looking for a nice rum fragrance, this is your girl. It's Tom Ford Velvet Orchid. Okay, the next one that we have is going to be a Cucaraco. Cucaraco? I don't know how to pronounce this fragrance, but this is going to be a drink that they serve. Usually, I think it's like if you go on a tropical vacation, usually in the Caribbean and the islands. This is Beyonce Pulse, and it features that note. Very nice, tropical, fruity, fun, good time fragrance, great for daytime. It just smells like you're dancing, drinking a cocktail, having the time of your life. So this fragrance is a novelty a fantasy note. It usually has bitter orange, and it also has a tropical feel. Yeah. It said it also pairs well with other beverage notes like coffee and rum. So I don't know if these two would like do well. I'm not in the mood to try it. But yeah, so this is Beyonce Pulse. Really like this fragrance. I'll read to you the other notes in this fragrance so you can kind of get an idea of how it may smell. This also has pear blossom in the top notes. It does have that cucuraco. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Cucuraco. I don't know. It also has bergamot in the top notes. So uplifting, refreshing, little bit of like zest going on, excitement. So in the middle notes, it has more of like floral. So it has the peony, it has orchid, and also has jasmine. Beyonce really loves putting orchid in her fragrances. I wonder, is that her favorite flower? Do you guys know? What's Beyonce's favorite flower? And the base notes, you have woodsy notes, musky notes, and then also vanilla, but it's not prominent. The most prominent notes in there are going to be the musky elements, the cucuraco, the bergamot is very prominent actually. Yeah, this is a very zesty, this is a very fun fragrance. It reminds me of like when you get those drinks, if you know, when you go to Miami, they have those huge drinks, those fish bowls. That's what it smells like. It smells like sweet. So I guess you can smell the vanilla because it does smell sweet, but it just smells like a sweet cocktail. So yeah, really love this fragrance. Can't wait to wear this in the spring, summer. Again, it's by Beyonce. This is Pulse. The last note that we're going to explore with this boozy cocktail of a fragrance video is going to be a very nice champagne fragrance. So the first one that has that is going to be Eros by Hilton. I've been loving wearing this recently. It has a very nice sparkly element to it, but this fragrance is already fun without that. I have to admit, it's like the most edible candied fragrance. Oh my god, I love it so much. The performance is very nice. It's such a fun fragrance, great for daytime. It smells like sweet fruit, and that champagne note in there just adds a little bit more of like, let's go have fun to it. So let me read to you guys the actual notes now. And the top notes that it has champagne, it has peach, it also has passion fruit, mimosa, and orange. So just a fruit explosion. I'm telling you, this fragrance is so much fun. Grenadine is going to be in the heart notes, tiara flower, ylang ylang, star jasmine, and honeysuckle, another one of my favorite notes of all time. And the base notes is going to have violet leaf, white woods, and tonka beans. So love this. Great fragrance. I have to admit, it's a celebrity fragrance, so it's probably going to get crap, but this smells divine. It does smell a little bit juvenile. It smells like it's for a young girl, but you know what? Girls just want to have fun, and this fragrance is just that. That's Eros by Hilton. The last fragrance that we're going to talk about, and this one also has a champagne note, is going to be Fancy Love by Jessica Simpson. Love Jessica Simpson's fragrances, and this one is just so unique in the profile of that. It's like very fizzy, very sparkly because of the champagne note, but it has a very nice fresh floral combined with a very nice citrus note. So I love this fragrance. I don't love it as much as, you know, Fancy Has My Heart, but this is a great, well done, well blended celebrity fragrance. And I'll read to you the notes in this one. So in Fancy Love, it opens up with the champagne note. So very spizzy, sparkly, fizzy, fun, peach blossom, bergamot again. So it kind of has the same freshness that the Beyonce Pulse has when it first opens. A lot of fragrances will do that just to make it very memorable and fresh when you first spray it. That idea of like, oh my god, I'm getting a blast of something new. A lot of fragrances do that. In the middle notes for Fancy Love, you have peony, you have frangipani, you have rose, lotus flower, and jasmine. So again, a lot of light, fresh florals. So really like this fragrance. And the base notes, that's where you're going to get the musky element. You're going to get some sandalwood, some amber. Oh, I don't know if it's actually sandalwood, but they just say woodsy notes. And then it also has, oh, I can't remember which that one is. But that's pretty much what you're going to get. It's going to have like some muskiness, some fresh floral, that citrus, bergamot note that's really uplifting. And then the fizziness of the champagne. But yeah, really like this fragrance. And those are the fragrances in my collection that have a very prominent boozy note. I would love to know what's in your collection that has like maybe a champagne note, maybe another rum note, a Bellini. I would love to know. Or if you try any of those fragrances, let me know. What do you think of them? Do you think it's prominent in there? And also drop some recipes for some drinks below, or just let me know what have you guys been sipping on, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.